It's a continuation of the old style of the old city, because most people don't have air conditioning, so they open their doors and they open their windows. And in the old city, in the very, very back, right there, and you can see some of the walls, the yellow walls after that body of water toward the left. Those are the walls that were built to protect the city from pirates attacks. Those buildings that you see inside the city were built in the 30s, mostly in the 40s and the 50s, but end of the 30s too. And they are mostly banks, office space, stores. People don't live in that particular area. It's like the financial district, but it's the ugliest part in Cartagena. And just outside you see a structure. You have some trees, and then that structure made of stones. That's the Fortress of San Felipe, which was built just outside the city. In most places on the Caribbean, the fort is built right next to the water. But in the case of Cartagena, since the walls were there, and Cartagena was an island, it was joined later on to the peninsula in the very back where you see the high rises, which is the first view you have as soon as you enter the Bay of Cartagena. And then it was joined to this piece of land over here to the right and back. But originally Cartagena was just an island. So the only way for then the boats started to attack.
You want to go water?
The intention was to and then after that, as I mentioned, originally we had 11 kilometers of walls, and then you see the cut over there from there to the very end of the street. Those were the first walls that were destroyed. And we lost 2 miles of walls in that at the beginning of the last century. People started to see the walls like an impediment to progress. And remember that after our independence, we lost everything, because all the economic activity was related to the ports. The fact that it was the Spanish port and then the slave trade. So one even in colonial times, that little door was always open. So if it was a surprise attack, then one man could go through that door. If the big door was always open, then many men could go at the same time. So, but today, most of these houses will be shut down because they don't live. The owners normally don't live here on a regular basis. They only have these houses as a summer.
This is a home where Greta Garbo lived when her husband owned the house.
People who were not Catholics were the worst criminals. They were heretics, and the most probable punishment would be to be burned at the stake. And the Inquisition, whenever a person was accused, to get the truth from the person, they used torture. And now this is the museum, the Historical Museum of Cartagena, and they have some of the old instruments of torture that the Inquisition used, along with other artifacts. And so they look like they're the same, but when you take a closer look, you see that they are all totally different, which is the beauty of handwork.
Take a shot and move aside. 90% off.
With all these sculptures, putting them on a gramophone. It sits in front of this big church.
That was listed in 2002. The house in back, you see a house, there's lots of green, and a house with a red roof. That's just back of the statue. There's The house with the red roof, that's the president's house. When the president comes to Cartagena, which is very often, almost every week, that's where he stayed. And that house was built on the ruins of an old fort that crossed fire with another one that was located on the point of Boca Grande. And those two protected all the interior of the bay. The ones that are located at the entrance of Cartagena on the channel, that channel is called Boca Chica, they were to protect the entire city.
What you doing? What you doing, pretty bird? Where's your buddy? Where's your buddy? Here comes your buddy. Hey guys. Get up. Final leaving Cartagena.